and in the now. I am solid, I am free. I am solid, I am free. In the ultimate I dwell. In the ultimate I dwell. One more time. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I am solid, I am free. I am solid, I am free. In the ultimate I dwell. In the ultimate I dwell. Wonderful. We have some song sheet up here if you need one. You like happiness, Gong? Okay. Happiness, you like happiness? So you must feel happy today, young one? Yeah? Okay, let's sing happiness. Happiness, happiness.
You want to sing with me?
Ready? Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries, nowhere to go, nothing to do, no longer in a hurry. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries, somewhere to go, something to do, but I don't need to hurry. Again, happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries, nowhere to go, nothing to do, no longer in a hurry. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries, somewhere to go, something to do, but I don't need to hurry. Thank you. I feel the support of the like the little choir here. I don't feel alone up here. But anyway, how are people feeling today? Let us see. Good? Yeah, at least 75% happy is okay. I know it's been cloudy and raining, and it's all affect me, my mood. Sister, yes. But you know, with the support of the community, the energy, like the young one, they smile, just being free, just to water a seed of joy in us, the little child in us, so that when we sing, so I invite you just to come back and just sing along. Just forget about the little worry, the fear in us, and just be a free, a little joy. I feel this painting is like the mandala. I will share with the sister, even though it's like a mandala. It's like a place where people can smile, can be free. So let us sing. What song do you like this time? Maybe All in My Heart? All in My Heart or Two Promises? Two Promises? Okay. Two Promises, yeah. Okay, let's go like this. I vow to develop understanding in order to live peacefully with people, animals, plants, and minerals. Animals, plants, and minerals. I vow to develop my compassion in order to protect the lives of people, animals, plants, and minerals. Animals, plants, and minerals. Breathe. One more time, can we do it? I vow to develop understanding in order to live peacefully with people, animals, plants, and minerals. Animals, plants, and minerals. I vow to develop my compassion in order to live peacefully with people, animals, plants, and minerals. Animals, plants, and minerals. Wow, wonderful. Thank you. One more song before we chant. Let me see. How about
Great Big Smile.
Great big smile.
you like Great Big Smile again?
Oh, but we did that
Okay. Yesterday we sing Great Big Smile, so it's like a call and response. Okay. And let us be a great big smile, a little child, a beautiful bird, a golden sun, and so on. Okay. The gentle rain. I am a bird, I am a bird, a beautiful bird,
A beautiful bird.
I am the sun,
I am the sun.
a golden sun,
A golden sun.
I am the wind,
I am the wind.
blowing in,
Blowing in.
a beautiful bird in the sun. We are one in a wonderful world. I am a seed,
I am a seed.
a tiny seed.
A tiny seed.
I am the rain,
I am the rain.
gentle rain.
Gentle rain.
I am a stream,
I am a stream.
carrying a tiny seed in the rain as we change in the wonderful world. I am a nose,
I am a nose.
a simple note.
a simple note.
I am a song.
I am a
A
song,
peaceful
a
song.
peaceful song.
I am a child.
I am a child,
A great big smile.
great big smile.
There's a note in the song, sing along in the wonderful world. Yay! I can see a lot of smile after this song. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. So thank you, Young One, Kelly, and Kobe for coming up here. So tomorrow we come up again. Okay. So thank you. Now we come back and sit beautifully like a flower, a mountain up down there. And we invite the monks and nuns to come up here for chanting. Thanks again. So con mời quý thầy cô mình lên đây mình tụng kinh trước khi pháp thoại. So I invite the brothers and sisters to come up for chanting. Kính thưa quý thầy cô, sáng nay mình sẽ tụng May the Day Be Well và Tán Cát Tường ở trang 2.
The Sangha is invited to come back to our breathing so that our collective energy of mindfulness will bring us back together as an organism, going as a river, with no more separation. Let the whole Sangha breathe as one body, chant as one body, listen as one body, and transcend the boundaries of a delusive self, liberating from the superiority complex, inferiority complex, and the equality complex. May the day be well and the night be well. May the midday hour bring happiness in every minute and every second. May the day and night be well. By the blessing of the triple gem, may all things be protected and safe. May all beings born in each of the four ways live in the land of purity. May all in the three realms be born upon lotus thrones. May countless wandering souls realize the three virtuous positions of the Bodhisattva path. May all living beings with grace and ease fulfill the Bodhisattva stages. The countenance of the world the one, like the full moon, or like the orb of the sun, shines with the light of clarity. The halo of wisdom spreads in every direction, enveloping all with love and compassion, joy and equanimity. Namo Sakyamuni Buddhaya. Namo Sakyamuni Buddhaya. Namo
Mai ha bang ya ba la mai ha bang
So this morning the children are invited to join the children's program. And I'm not sure if the teens have a program separate or not, so it's up to you. Dear respected Tay, dear brothers and sisters, dear noble community, good morning everyone. I'm gathering the energy of your smiles so that I have the energy to share in a peaceful way today. So firstly, I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the community to all of our friends here who have chosen, of all places to go to come to a monastery during this holiday season, these holy days. We recognize that it is a commitment that you make, that it takes energy, time, planning, in order to make it happen. So from the bottom of our heart, thank you for gracing us with your presence today. I thought it would be nice to start today just to gather some of our collective gratitudes, as it is the end of the year. So I'd like to ask you if you could share from the audience some of the things that you are touching in this time, during this time here, that you find supportive, that you find nourishing or helpful for you. Anyone? Yes. The snow. Okay. Anyone else? Yes. Silence, noble silence, right? Silence that heals. Acceptance. Resting. There's a theme, I think, that we're starting to hear. Anyone else? Yes. The company of everyone here. The collective Sangha. Beatrice. The monastics. Thank you. Yeah. So we take a little time to touch on the things that are nourishing us, because that is actually what gives us strength, that gives us fuel to carry on. And at the end of the year, it is traditionally a time of year where we pause to reflect where we have been, where we're at right now, and of course, where we want to go, what future we want to chart for ourselves and for our children. And so it is a very fortuitous time to be together so that we can gather the collective positive seeds to give us energy together. So from our sharing, we can really touch, there's a collective desire to come to a space outside, inside, where we can recommit to our well-being. Right now, in these last months, this last year, in the forefront of our collective mind has been the issue of peace, or lack thereof. It's been turbulent out there. And not only turbulent out there, but also turbulent inside. Because we know that whatever is going on outside affects what's going on inside, and is also a reflection of what is going on inside. So what we're looking at now is a reflection of our state of peace, externally and internally. And what we're doing here today is making a new commitment, a recommitment to our collective well-being as well as our daily life well-being. So in our daily life, normally we don't really pay much attention to those words, peace and harmony, because it's like a Coca-Cola commercial. It's something very bland. But when we don't have it, and we start to suffer because we don't have that sense of space, that sense of acceptance, that sense of ease, then we know just how precious it is to cultivate in our daily lives. And it's not something we take for granted anymore, right? Our friends across on the other side of the globe, that is not something they can take for granted anymore. So this is what we're looking at. Peace is a sense of ease, a lack of violence, a lack of fear of violence or transgression, a sense of safety, and a community, a sangha, ideally, is a community that invests its time and energy to touch those, to nourish those things in ourselves and in one another. And in that way, we can create and support one another to transform, to recommit to the larger peace out in the world. That is our ideal, that is our aspiration as a community of practitioners. So to understand the importance of peace leads us to understand our aspiration to practice seriously to water that seed of peace and well-being in ourselves and in one another, that sense of safety and security. In order to practice seriously, it'd be helpful to understand a little bit about Buddhist psychology. So for all of our older practitioners, old-time practitioners, please allow me to just review a little bit about some Buddhist psychology. I just want to check with translation. Is it okay? Okay, thank you. I tend to speak very quickly, so I also have to check. Okay, so our mind, according to Buddhist psychology, and the experienced practitioner has different levels. Normally, what we touch is our emotions or thoughts that come up, our reactions. And that is on the upper level of our consciousness. It's called the mind consciousness. There's a lower level called the store. It's called the store for a reason we'll talk about later. But in our daily life, we may be living a very hectic, very chaotic life. Emotions come up, reactions come up, and we have to deal with it like a whack-a-mole. It comes up, and then we have to deal with it, take care of it, and then something else comes up. And those are the mental formations, emotions or thoughts that arise, and we become aware of them, or they push us into actions of speech or actions of our body. So for example, we may, someone insults us, and a flash of anger comes up and we say something in return. That is a mental formation that has arisen into our mind consciousness. And then it will disappear. And then another mental formation may arise, perhaps anxiety or confusion. And depending on the conditions, those kind of emotions may last for a long time, may last for a longer amount of time. It clouds our day, it clouds our week. And if we're lucky, other mental formations that are more wholesome, more positive, that nourish us and nourish those around us will come up, like compassion, understanding, forgiveness, formations that allow us to touch a deeper sense of belonging and connection with those around us. Okay. So our mind consciousness is always changing with the conditions around us. At the same time, below is called the store consciousness because it is the store for all of our mental formations, all of our emotions that may arise if the conditions are right. And it's the totality of all of our seeds, so they're both positive and negative, wholesome and unwholesome. So this means that we don't have to judge ourselves or judge one another because we all share all 51 mental formations. And depending on our background, depending on what has been watered in us in the past, some seeds may be stronger than others. But because we all share that, we all share the common lot of having to deal with our mental formations when they arise, when they are triggered, when they are touched. So when we understand that our mind is not just on the surface, but something quite vast, it's like an iceberg, we start to understand and appreciate the depth of practice that is required for us to really create transformation in our life. So no, it's not as easy as making a New Year's Eve resolution and then maybe reminding ourselves a few months later that we actually had a resolution. It's not like that. Why? Because we are not dealing with the tip of the iceberg. We are dealing with the whole of us, the entirety of us, which is underneath in the store. Sometimes they compare the store consciousness to an ocean, a vast ocean, and it's hidden until we have a chance to shine the light of mindfulness on it. So one other point that I'd like to bring up before we look into how to practice with this vast iceberg of ourselves is that the seeds that are in the store and the manifestations of anger or compassion or confusion that come up, that are tangible, that are felt, they actually affect one another. The stronger the seed is, the bigger the seed is in our store. Maybe our mother is naturally, has a bad temper, And we inherited those habits of touching that seed of anger. So in us, that seed is very big, so it'll come up more easily. The more that seed is touched, the more that will paint our landscape in our daily life with our loved ones, with our coworkers. So if we know how to take care of those seeds while they're seeds, it affects how they will or will not manifest, right? And at the same time, the seeds that are already formed, that have come up and have manifested, the longer they stay up there, the longer we don't take care of those unwholesome formations, the stronger they become, so that when they come back down into the store, they will be even bigger. So we understand that there is a practice that can hold all of these qualities of our mind, all of these characteristics of our mind, so that we can make true, lasting change, positive change. And the Buddha called that the practice of right effort. Okay. Right effort is one of the 8 practices of the Noble Eightfold Path. And when I first became a nun and started learning about Buddhism and the practices, Noble Eightfold Path, the Four Noble Truths, I glossed over right effort. I didn't realize how important it is. I didn't make that connection. It's only until later, after failing and failing and failing at my quote-unquote New Year's resolutions, I had the chance to reflect more deeply, what is it that I'm missing? Right effort gives us a roadmap to be very comprehensive and very loving at the same time with what's inside of us and what's manifesting. Okay. So what is right effort? It's very simple. And as we will experience in this retreat, most of the things that we're sharing with you are very simple, right? Breathe, walk, and be aware of your walk. Smile. But the important thing is how we connect the dots and connect it to our suffering, how we practice with it, and actually, as our brother said, how we do it, right? So I'm just here as a harbinger of hope for you, just a kind of flag to point you again in the direction of self-exploration. So I'm not sharing anything profound here, just some basic truths. So right effort is comprised of 4 practices. Okay? So as I shared, we have both wholesome and unwholesome seeds, and the first 2 deal with our unwholesome seeds, like anger, right? Like fear, confusion, frustration, resentment, craving, delusion. Anything that makes you irritated about someone is basically an unwholesome mental formation. And that irritation that you feel is also an unwholesome mental formation. Before it manifests, it's called a seed. So the first practice of right effort is prevention. Right? I want you to remember these graphics, because it comes in handy when we're in the thick of it back at home, when we suddenly remember, prevention. So any gardener knows that it's, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? Before it comes up, it's so much easier to deal with the weeds if you put out a weed barrier, right? If you put down some cardboard or newspaper and block those seeds from sprouting, because once they sprout, what do you have to do? You have to do some major back-breaking weeding if you're by yourself. So the first step is to being aware of those seeds in us. Say it is that seed of fear that mom or dad passed on to us. Being aware of that, we know that we should prevent it from coming up. And we have some concrete ways of doing that. Firstly, we can guard our senses. And during this holiday season, we had the opportunity to go out. We're in the process of buying a car for the community. And in the dealerships, they always play jingles. So there's always music going on. And those songs, they just go right into your head and they stay there. And that's what they call an earworm, right? Things that go in and stick in your head because you didn't have the chance to guard your senses. So in our everyday life, there are positive things, but there are also negative things that come into our mind through our ears, through our eyes, that we have a choice to make. We have a choice to say no to things that are not nourishing us. And that is a way of guarding, that is an intelligent way of practicing, guarding ourselves from having to do the weeding of trying to take that earworm out of our ear, out of our mind later. So if there's someone that we have a conversation with every day that we feel drained after talking, chances are that this is a place of practice for us. How do we protect our senses so that that negativity doesn't come to us? If we are around situations that cause us to touch fear or anxiety, then what is the intelligent thing to do? In this situation, if we know that it is affecting our physical, mental health, a wise practitioner will remove themselves from that toxic or over-challenging situation. And everyone has the right and the responsibility as a practitioner to do that. We remove ourselves with the intention of protecting our senses from further bombardment. One aspect about prevention is it's sometimes too much of a good thing is also not helpful. So one aspect to be aware of is moderation. So we can consume many things that are healthy for us, but if it's too much, it becomes unhealthy, right? Conversations can be like that. Certain endeavors, like some of us have a strong work ethic, and we put our energy into helping others. But if we are not moderate with that, then it becomes something that hinders us instead of helps us. So preventing is also not just avoiding, but also knowing when to stop. Right? Reflecting in our daily life, are there areas where we go into excess, where it's difficult for us because of our habits to know, or even though we know, just to stop? Are we being pushed by something? Okay, so X marks the spot. Unwholesome seeds, we make a commitment not to put ourselves in those situations anymore, to remove ourselves from those situations. The second aspect of right effort is when those seeds happen to come up anyway. We can't help it, it comes up. And I know our practice is very gentle, and I don't want to give you the impression that you're a time bomb. You are not a time bomb, let me just put that disclaimer out right away. But your mental formation that is unwholesome is a time bomb. And so the reason I'm using this graphic is because I want to impress upon you how important it is to take care of that negative flash when it comes up as quickly, as expediently as possible. Because as I shared, the longer it stays there, the stronger it gets. And in daily life, we know that when we don't resolve those things that are causing us confusion, anger, resentment, they only compound. We haven't yet had time or put energy into reconciling with someone, and then they do something, and then we have another deeper misunderstanding. It compounds, it complicates. So don't put it aside. Don't think that it's okay for me to feel angry and let it last. Don't think that it's okay to hold this sense of jealousy and not practice with it. Don't think that this sense of fear is something that you have to bear. There are things that we can do right in the moment that it comes up in our consciousness. And that is why, in fact, right effort is and continues and will continue to be your friend. It is a gentle way of dealing with those hot points, those flashes. So the second one, the first was, what was the first one again? Prevention. The second one is to abandon right away, right? So you are a haven of peace. You are an oasis of peace. But that flash of anger is not. That is the dynamite. So I'd like to share 3 aspects that can help us to abandon. 2. First, like I said before, removing ourselves from a situation. We need to take a break, then take a break. That person is pushing our buttons. We have a right to say, my buttons are being pushed, I need some space. Right? There's an external practice, so that's the external practice. And then there's the internal practice, which is what we are all here as meditators to do. The internal practice, the deeper practice, is when we have the presence of mind in light of that flash, to look more deeply into that issue, to look more deeply and understand the causes and conditions, to help us to free ourselves from that way of thinking or that situation that has caused that flash to come up. So anger is always a very hot topic. If you've ever studied in depth the 5 mindfulness trainings or the 14 mindfulness trainings, it's very interesting that of all the emotions, love is mentioned, but anger is the one that's brought up. Why? Because it's such a flashpoint, and it can cause so much harm. So I'd like just to take a little avenue for us to explore anger a little bit more in depth, so we have the conditions to look deeply when anger comes up. Anger is, as they define it, an intense, we don't need to be told that, right? It's an intense emotional state. It's uncomfortable. It's uncooperative, even to the point of hostility. And it is in response, this is the important part, it's in response to a perceived provocation, threat, or hurt. And there's the key there. When we are in the heat of anger, we are reacting. We might not even know what it is that we're reacting to. But when we have a space to look more deeply, we can understand, I'm responding to something that I perceive to be provoking me. Provoking what is the question? Is threatening me. Threatening what is the question? Is hurting me. Hurting what is the question? So that what starts to help us untie what we are attached to, what we usually call mine or me, the thing that has been threatened or hurt, the thing that we're holding on to that someone else is infringing on, encroaching on. So this is a continual practice to reflect on our anger, reflecting on its the conditions. It just comes up, and it only comes up with this person and not this person. Why? Why am I so heated in this moment? Okay. So, as I shared, when we do not take care of our negative mental formations, it will cause us to act physically or verbally. In Buddhist psychology, the master that drives us is the mind. So from unskillful thoughts of craving or hatred or delusion, we give rise to unskillful speech. We say things that show our craving, our hatred, or our delusion, and then we act on it. So if we act in a timely way, we avoid the whole karma of wrong speech, wrong action. We can put an end to those habit energies that drive us to excess. And we might reflect on our resolutions as I continue to share about this, our New Year's resolutions. What has driven us to excess beyond that point where we are no longer well, but we are in a place of ill-being. Okay, so now we come to the third. So we have prevention and abandonment. And keep in mind, we want to extinguish that unwholesome mental formation as quickly as possible. The third is dealing with the wholesome seeds. Okay, so it's just the flip side of the first two. When we come to a retreat like this, we are introduced through lovely ways like the songs that we hear about the wholesome seeds we would like to nourish. I vow to develop understanding. I vow to develop my compassion. In daily life, who talks like that, right? But here we in a Sangha space, we are inundated in a loving way with reminders everywhere. I mean, all the calligraphies, the mindfulness gathas, we are reminded by the songs that there's a whole wealth of positive seeds in us, not somewhere floating around, but part of us as well, that we have the capacity to awaken, to breathe life to with practice. So the third is, again, to deal with that iceberg underneath. How do we actually water seeds that are in us that we have not really been benefiting from in our daily life? Are we dry in our daily life? Are we joyless? Are we harried? Are we not feeling spacious? All we need to do is ask ourselves, what have we been suffering a drought from? And there's your answer. What is it that we can bring our energy into? So in our community here, again, I'd like to ask for you to help the collective energy. Please share with me, what are some positive seeds that you would like to see manifest more openly in your daily life, and not just here at the monastery? Honesty. Honesty. Who said that? I'm sorry. Thank you. Honesty. That's actually an interesting one, because to be honest, one needs a sense of principle, but also one needs courage. So there are attendant mental formations, seeds that we can water, as well as just straightforward saying, be honest. So be courageous. Be faithful to your vows, to your precepts, right? Sheila, yes. Anyone else? Yes. Patience. Patience, yes. Patience being related to deep listening, being able to love, being able to be faithful. The person behind you. Self-compassion. Tenderness. Yeah. Are these resonating with you as you hear this? I think, each one of us, we're sharing this, but you're kind of speaking for many at a time. Yes. Confidence, self-confidence, confidence, right? Thank you. Right, so these are all things that we do have. I just talked to my mother the other day, and she reminded me of confidence, actually. Thank you for sharing that. She shared with me that she has full confidence in whatever I say today. I'm paraphrasing. But that was her way of helping me to remember that I have her in me, because she is my example of someone who has the clarity of mind and confidence to share truthfully what's in one's heart. And when she shares that she has confidence in me, then it gives me confidence to have confidence in myself. Okay, one last seed that you'd like to water. Yes. Delight, joy, right? Joy and delight. Okay, thank you. So when we give rise to the intention, as we have just done, that is one concrete way of watering the seed. In Buddhism, we have one of the 4 nutriments is volition. And the act of giving rise to an aspiration is a kind of kickstarter. It's kind of like you put in some fertilizers to help that seed grow. If we don't, in Vietnamese I believe it's called tak y, if we don't give rise to the intention, then easy come, easy go, doesn't come, no matter. But here, because we understand we have a commitment to our own peace, our own well-being, we want to kickstart it by giving rise to the aspiration. So we speak it out, we say it out. We don't just observe what's there and let it go. Today I'm angry, but tomorrow I'm going to take a concrete step to 1, understand more deeply where this is coming from. 2, change my reaction. 3, strategize so that I can avoid. These are all ways that we give rise to the intention of non-anger. And non-anger, that feeling of coolness, is also a mental formation. So the lack of anger is also a mental formation. So the first way that we can concretely water the seed, positive seeds, give rise to the intention, not just once, but regularly, reflecting on it, where we're at, and coming back, renewing, beginning anew with our resolution. So our resolutions are not set in stone. That's probably one of the main reasons why many of us fail, is because we're a bit unrealistic and we're not in touch with a true concrete practice of effort. So we say we're going to change completely, we fail, and then we get discouraged and we drop it all. Is that logical? I mean, does that make sense? One resolution to last the whole year? No, we have to be flexible with the conditions that are at hand, and we have to be compassionate to ourselves. We are all trying our best with what we have. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, but we have made a commitment, so we keep on keeping on, right? For me, what is very important to help water the seeds, for me personally, is to make a commitment to do one thing at a time. So when I am doing many things at once, the quality of my concentration drops considerably. Literally, we drop the ball when we're juggling too many things. Our energy is zapped, and the capacity to live meaningfully, to look deeply at what we're doing, it drops down to 0, right? So what is driving us to multitask? Many of us are living a life that is so hectic, and we have taken that for granted that we have to do that. But Blue Cliff is an example of that's not true. There are spaces and places of intentional living, like Blue Cliff, like some of our lay communities, that have seen clearly that multitasking, frenetic, hectic running in the conventional way that society has us do does not lead to transformation, healing, and happiness. And so if we find that we are caught in this constant wheel of running, please know you have the choice to step off. It requires certain conditions as we continue to make a commitment to well-being for you to put into place. But no one is caught in a cycle of ill-being if they have the keys to step in the different direction. So once we see, we act in a way that allows us to move in the opposite direction, right? So please don't be a victim of your circumstance. The fact that you've come here is already, I think, a very beautiful act, a very beautiful practice. And that leads me to the third way of watering, is you gather favorable conditions around you. Sangha is an example of favorable conditions. Right? We have actually space to do deep relaxation every day. Someone's singing to us. Right? We have a chance to sit and just listen and not react. We have a chance to reflect on the Dharma. We are actually bringing this into our lives because we have co-created this space together. You have created this space to do that. So when you leave the monastery and you want to continue to be nourished, continue to heal, take these elements that you're touching here and continue to co-create together. That's why we have sanghas, local sanghas, here, there, and everywhere, because we are actively gathering favorable conditions to water joy, water honesty. When we can share in a Dharma sharing group, our heart, in a space where we've only met one another just the other day, we are creating that together, and we have the capacity to continue to do that once we leave the monastery with the help of Sangha. Okay. It is important that we understand that we have this capacity. It's called faith, and that is the first factor of awakening in the 7 factors. If we don't have faith that we can do it, then there's no point at all. But I trust that everyone here does have faith that they have that innate capacity to awaken to what is wholesome in them. So let us listen to the sound of the bell. And as we listen to the sound of the bell, I'd like to invite you to touch that seed of faith, self-confidence in you. Allow it to breathe with you. Allow it to be the volition that moves us in the direction of courage. They say that faith is belief in something that is not yet seen. In Buddhism, we have faith because we practice, and that which we believe in that we have not yet touched becomes a reality. It grows our faith. And the last way of the 4 efforts, the 4th way is to maintain what has arisen. So that it's not a flash in the pan. Everyone needs to be acknowledged, to feel seen. We only need to look at our friends and partners to know how much they brighten when we say, "Thank you for doing this. I appreciate you." And we also see the effect of our neglect. They wilt when we forget to notice their kindness, the things that they do for us, the positive way they affect us. When we don't water that seed of awareness, they wilt, right? And so it's the same thing with ourselves. When we have something positive come up, especially something that doesn't come up easily, we have the chance to celebrate, to acknowledge, and to appreciate that energy that has come up in us. So it's like you become your own cheerleader, and this is how we help to maintain that positive, that wholesome thought, that wholesome habit in us. So we have a chance to say, "Yay, I did it. I got this," right? How often do we actually cheerlead ourselves? Many of us cheerlead others very well, but we're very hard on ourselves. I remember this is a common plight. Why is that? We're very hard on ourselves, and when we succeed in something, we're very grudging with that. Well, yeah, we did okay, but it wasn't that great. But in the 4th effort, we actively bring our attention to that bud, that little branch that popped up, and we give it the joy of acknowledgement, of appreciation. Let it grow, right? So what is it that you want to grow in you? What is it that you see? There's some change. Maybe it might not be the change that you're looking for, but it's the beginning. It's the beginning of a process. And that's where we bring our energy in. We are diligent in nurturing that bud. So celebrate when we are not angry for once. Celebrate when we've restrained from saying that sarcastic comment that we normally would say in terms of our speech. Celebrate when we've decided to say no to that food that we know has been hurting us all this time. Because if we don't, then our habits can easily take over, and in a time of weakness, we will give in to it. So what bolsters us is that appreciation, that forward-looking and saying, aha, I have this capacity, I've manifested it, and this is where it's taking me. It's helping me this way. So I'm going to put more energy into it. So this is an active process, and in the community, we do this quite well. In the community, in our monastic community, we are taught and we are trained to water positive seeds in one another regularly, to look more carefully and to appreciate those small acts of kindness, those small considerations, and give voice to them. And so it waters that in ourselves, it waters that in the other person, and we're blooming. So in a nutshell then, we have a concrete way forward with our commitments. We have a concrete path. There's always something to practice with. So there's never a dull moment. Whether we're hot, whether we're resting, we know that there's something to take up to practice with. And we know that we will succeed if we have enough conditions. So help me to bring together those 4 elements. What was the first one again? Prevent, right? prevent those seeds. The second one was abandon, right? Diffuse as quickly as possible. Psst. And then the third one, oops, don't want to cheat. Don't look at that. Oh, okay. Oh, zoot. All right. The third one was water, yeah. In technical terms, they call it arousing the mental formation, but we are a very organic community, so I like to use the word watering, more watering the seeds. And then, of course, the third one was maintain. Maintain. All right. So I'd like to end with this thought. The Little Prince is close to my heart and maybe to your heart as well. Speaks to the childlike earnestness in all of us. The care we have for our loved ones. It's like the care that the Little Prince has in the present tense, has for his rose. In the space of practice, we all have the place to heal and come back to that inner child. From a place of safety and earnestness, to tend what is most beautiful in us and to offer that to those that we love. That sense of safety and peace, well-being. So in the new year, let us make the collective commitment together that we will care for ourselves. We will tend to that rose of peace in ourselves so that we can then bring that oasis out to offer to so many people who are searching for the same thing. Let us make that commitment in a very real way by practicing right effort, accepting our unwholesome seeds, but practicing with our unwholesome seeds. Acknowledging and becoming aware of our positive seeds, celebrating them, nurturing them in ourselves and others. And so in a very real way, when we make this commitment to peace in ourselves, we are actively contributing to the lack of peace outside. First of all, with our friends and our family in the monastic community. And then beyond that, to so many people who are seeking for a refuge outside first. So to end, invite you to come back to your sitting posture, relaxing the neck, relaxing the shoulders. And as we breathe, please allow this prayer to enter into you. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be peaceful in my actions of body, speech, and mind. May my loved ones be happy. May they be safe. May they be peaceful in body, speech, and mind. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful in body, speech, and mind. And may we continue to take concrete steps in the direction of peace. You please feel free to unfold your legs.